This is your all signs reading for the new moon happening in Cancer on June 25th. Opportunity is knocking. It's time to act now. Thank you for your patience here. We're going to jump right into the overall reading. We're going to do all 12 signs, and as always, we will do your bonus messages at the end. So let's get started with this energy. The first energy we have for this new moon is the Four of Earth. The Four of Earth card is talking about feeling like you're either stuck in a financial situation or lack of material resources, or you're spending too much and you're not paying attention and it's holding you back. So that's what we're going into this new moon energy with. Let's see what the challenging energy is going to be coming up. It is the Five of Fire, which makes a lot of sense. It says there's competing goals here. So one of the things that we want to know when we look at this card, and this is the challenge, is where you may have too many irons in the fire. You're not paying attention to where you're investing your time and energy, where you're investing your finances. So it might be time to put something on the back burner so that you can really focus on accomplishing something. So we're going to get some more guidance here for this new moon as we keep going, but let's see what's going on in the subconscious energy. Subconsciously, we have the energy coming in as the Chariot, which means you are ready to move on from something. There is something in your life that needs to change, and you're going to know what this is by listening to your intuition. So this new moon will be a nice quiet time. And actually, if you're watching these messages early, like you are right now live with me, by the way, welcome. Let me know where you're tuning in from the comments. This card right here is letting you know that if you will take some time to listen to your intuition about where you might need to move away from something and move on in a new direction, you will get so much clarity. So I really love this for the overall energy of the new moon. Let's see what's coming up in the recent past. We have the Knight of Fire. Yeah, there's something that has recently come up for you where you have decided, I am really passionate about doing this project, about learning this new skill, about moving to a new location or a new job. Something recently you've really realized, I am so excited about this. And one of the things you're going to need to do is get clear about how much time, how much energy, how much space can you hold for these new things. It may mean you have to let something go so that you have the money or the time or the energy to invest in this new thing. So let's see what's coming up in the present energy for this new moon. We have the Four of Air. I love it when we get this card for the new moon because it's actually asking you to rest, to slow down, just like we were talking about listening to our intuition, okay? So this card is letting you know that it's okay to sleep on any decisions before you take action. Let's say you decide you want to take an online class, or you decide you want to start looking for a new place to live. You can choose a location, make a plan, but you can sleep on it before you actually do it. So I really like that because it feels like maybe there's been too much energy going on. In fact, since the heart of our spread is this Four of Earth, I think that you've allowed yourself to get in a position where you feel like, oh, I could never take that trip I wanted to take, or I could never move to that neighborhood. It would be so difficult. And they're saying, no, there is a way through that, but you've got to start listening to your intuition. You've got to start getting more information. And this meditation will provide answers. Part of this card is letting you know you might get the answer in a dream. You might get the answer through journaling, but you do want to ask for that guidance. You want to ask, you want to take that time alone. And it is going to be your intuition that guides you, not outside factors. There are too many things going on in the outside world right now for you to be able to trust a lot of it. So what you're going to have to trust is your intuition. And that's going to be huge coming up now through this new moon and leading up to the following full moon. One thing that's really exciting about this, if you happen to be somebody who follows astrology, is the day before we have the sun conjunct Jupiter. This is called a cazimi whenever a planet exactly conjuncts the sun. And this is a really positive aspect happening right before the new moon on Tuesday, the 21st 4th. So what you might actually be feeling is that Jupiter in Cancer expansion with the sun as well, because technically it is still conjunct this new moon happening on the 25th. So that's really exciting news. If you have all been feeling this really crunchy energy, I am recording this live on the 18th of June, so about a week early. In fact, the day of this new moon, I will be live with Chris Reck right here on this channel. Again, we're doing the rest of 2025. I'm so excited to have him back on as always. But that will be on the new moon that we're doing the rest of 2025. Now, between now and the new moon, the energy is going to be a little up and down, a little touch and go. There's going to be some positive aspects and there's going to be some, kind of agitating ones. You might see people around you overreacting to things on the headlines. So the guidance here is right now at the time you're hearing these messages, turn off that news. Close down those social media apps, take a break, go outside in nature with no electronics, or at least whatever you are listening to, let it be high vibrational messages like these, or listen to really high vibrational music. Go outside and play with your pet. Go sit by a body of water. This is what we're being asked to do for this new moon energy right now at the time you're hearing these messages, whether it's now or on the new moon. So coming up in the near future, we have the Page of Air card. So the reason I'm doing this iPhone version, for those of you who are here in the beginning where you don't see the spread, is I'm going to be traveling this summer and I want to be able to still be here for you guys for all the lives and all the messages. So we're just trying this out differently. I want to make sure you can see it, and let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay, if you can see the card okay, because I'm practicing with it. But one of the things about this Page of Air card is it could be that there might be some information that comes in really soon that's a little bit of a challenge to digest, right? So it could be these booming news headlines that are fear-based. It could be somebody calling you up and they're freaking out about something and they're saying, I know I said I'd go with you to dinner, but I'm freaking about these headlines, so I'm not going. And it's just challenging information. It could even be where you have plans with somebody and you learn something. Whoop, I'm trying to make this focus for you guys. Thank you, Joy. You're so sweet. Just breathe. Yeah, I had like 4 tries getting this live going if you were here for that part. But we do need to all just breathe. And we do need to recognize that if some truth comes in that we don't like, what we want to do is step back and go, okay, but there is truth to this, right? So I might not like it. I might not like the way it was delivered. It might mean I need to learn something new. It might mean I need to pivot with something I'm about to do, but it's in your highest interest to know this information. So this information is coming because it's in your highest interest to know. So let's see what's coming up in your personal power so we can do a pocket affirmation here. We have the 2 of Earth. Perfect for this new moon. Perfect, okay? Now this new moon is in Cancer, which is a water sign, but when we combine water and earth, we grow things. It's beautiful, right? So it says that you want to make sure that you are making a choice about something. You might have, again, like we said with this card, the 5 of Fire, you might have too many irons in the fire. You might have too many things going on. Are you trying to plan a trip for your family, get the house cleaned, wrap up some projects at work, throw a birthday party for somebody? There just might be too many things where you're trying to do too much people pleasing. This also for some of you does have to do with your creative projects. So you might be retired and you're trying to spend more time with a hobby or something you love, or it could actually be a situation where you're trying to people please too much. You're trying to make sure everybody has what they need, and then you're not having the time to invest in what you want. So what's the first thing that comes to mind for you? Where you're going to have your personal power here is by making a choice. And I'm going to just spoiler alert, or as we like to say on this channel, spiritual alert. The choice is you. You're going to choose what your heart wants first, right? That is your personal power. So let's write in the comment section below, I easily choose for my heart. I easily choose for my heart. If you want to write that in the comments below, that is your personal power right now at the time you are seeing these messages. Make a choice. Choose the one that's in your highest interest. Something else needs to go. Like I said here, we have this competing goals in the heart of our spread. And, it's not that hard to figure out what it is. It's usually the first thing that comes to mind, but I want you to start with these 3 areas in your life, right? We have our relationships, not just romantic. This is parents, children, friends, colleagues, bosses. It's not just, and it can be a relationship to something, right? And then we have our health, right? So it could be a relationship to your body. And then we also have our, our finances, material resources. If you're retired, your legacy, what you're leaving behind. Those three areas, I want you to think about them. And does anything seem out of balance? Or one of the things that is helpful is, do you feel any kind of dread when you have to deal with that area? Now, if you do feel dread, that doesn't mean that it's not in your highest interest to have it in your life. It means it needs a new approach. It means maybe you're feeling overburdened. And I do definitely get that feeling with this Four of Earth card and this Two of Earth together. You know, an idea that comes to mind for me that I could use as an example is when I'm doing a new project, if I'm really excited about it and then suddenly I start to feel blocked and I start to feel stuck and like I'm almost dreading working on it, sometimes it's because I'm not doing it in the most efficient way. There's too much friction. Sometimes it's too much of a financial burden. Like maybe I'm like really uncomfortable with the cost, and so I need to do some more research and figure out if there's a more economical version to do that. Sometimes it's the opposite, where I haven't been willing to invest in the higher quality equipment or whatever, and so it's just taking too much time to get something done. So I think you're all going to know what this is for you, and I feel like if you will take time right now at the time you're hearing these messages to think about those three areas of your life, it's going to be really clear by the time we get to the apex of this new moon on June 25th, so that you can actually plant those seeds. What do we do with the new moon? We start things, right? With a full moon, we tend to end things and we make room for things. So you're actually still coming off that full moon energy at the time you're hearing these messages, and there are things coming to an end. It doesn't have to even be abrupt things. It could just be the way that you take your walk every morning. You're like, I want to go a different route. I'm tired of the same old route. Or you always listen to the same podcast. Now you're going to find a new one for while you're doing your chores, right? So, hello, Justin. Good to see you there. The page of air is coming up in those external factors there. In the external factors where you're having people call you in. And so that's why I wanted you to say, we're not going to let other people's fears hold us back. And we're not going to let the circumstances in our environment create friction. So there is something that you can do differently with this new moon that's going to clear the way. And I just want you to think about anywhere where you might be feeling resistance right now. If you're feeling resistance, I really encourage you to try to focus on why are you feeling resistance. It doesn't mean that it's not in your highest interest to do it. It's in your highest interest to look at a different way of doing it. I mean, if you were here at the beginning of this live, I had to restart it like 4 times because I don't know, I practiced it about 15 times and it went great yesterday and this morning. But things happen. I feel like that was like a page of air moment. It's like, I'm not going to not do the live, so here we are. All right, here's what's coming up in the hopes or fears. We have this 7 of water. Now, my good friend Chris Reck over at Minnow Pond Tarot talks about how this is being spoiled for choice. Now, other tarot readers, I've heard them, this is the 7 of Cups, right, in tarot. This is Angel Tarot. But in other tarots, they'll talk about, not having the ability to know which cup is in your highest interest, being afraid that something is in the cup that's not your highest interest, or delusion, where you're saying, oh, I really, really, really want what's in that cup. And then when you get it, you go, oh, well, that's not what I really want. Well, this is coming up in our hope or fear section for the overall energy. We are going to get to all signs in just a minute. And this is coming up in the overall hopes or fears, which I always call two sides of the same coin, because you can both hope and fear something at the same time. It's about that thought process behind it. Are you letting your thoughts guide you, or are you choosing to find the silver lining? Are you looking for the opportunity to learn and grow and take on that opportunity to fail? If you fail, you learn. What did you learn? You change, you grow, right? So instead, we're going to focus more on just picking a cup and going forward with it. And that's what we're figuring out there too. Hey, AC, good to see you. So when we have this Two of Earth card here in our personal power, and we have this Seven of Water in our hopes or fears, I feel like what they're letting us know is with this new moon, you might have 7 or more options that you can invest in, but you still have at least 1 or 2 things that you need to let go of first, right? It's like you don't have room for this new thing because you still have too much going on. So let's see what's coming in your final outcome so we can get to all 12 signs and of course your bonus reading at the end. Wow. For this new moon, the overall energy is the Awakening card. All right, this is the Hanged Man card in the tarot decks. This is the Angel Tarot, and we're being asked to look at something from a new perspective. So what you heard earlier about how the key is to get rid of the friction, look to see where you're feeling resistance to something, and ask yourself, how can I remove that resistance? And also, how can I look at things from a different perspective? Okay, so I want you to think about that because this new moon is going to give you that opportunity. For example, right here, right now, I'm practicing using my iPhone for these lives so that when I travel this summer, I have all the equipment I need in a small place and I can keep going with my lives for you guys and sharing these messages. But I first had to think about, all right, what are the ways I can do this in an efficient way? And why haven't I done this before? How come in the past when I've traveled, I haven't done this? A lot of it was resistance to having to gather equipment and do it. And now I'm figuring out a way to make it easy. So it can be something as simple as that. Sometimes we think that it's this huge thing, like this huge tower moment of having to quit a job or end a relationship or move to a new location, when ultimately it might just be just a couple of new things, looking at things differently. The other day, I'm going to be starting the all signs right now, but the other day I woke up to no power in our house at 6:30 in the morning, and we had a lot of things planned that day. And I have learned in the past that the more I worry about how long it's going to be before the internet and electricity are back on, the longer it takes. It literally creates resistance. And my angels were loudly and clearly telling me that morning, go higher with your thoughts. I went for a walk. I saw dragonflies. I found an amazing hawk feather. I just kept being told, go higher. And then I would see the electricity company truck going by looking for the problem. And I would get, oh, they still haven't figured out the problem. And then I would hear, go higher. Like, we're not going to worry about it. We're going to have an amazing time no matter when the electricity comes back on, right? So that's just a little example of taking that different perspective. And, you know, I've had it happen so many times that it's like, what do I learn from this? I learned that the quicker I go higher with my thoughts and my affirmations, the quicker things get back into a divine alignment and back into divine flow. All right, let's get started with the Aries signs. So I want to figure out a way in the future to be able to do some kind of easier stamp for you to know when these are. I will put timestamps in at the end, but I guess for right now, let's just say Aries, here is your new moon energy message. All right, starting with Aries, we have Knight of Earth. Organized, responsible, supportive. All right, so this is again talking about being focused on where you're putting your time and energy, Aries. You have Saturn in your sign, you have Neptune in your sign, they're squaring Jupiter in Cancer. Hey Janie, good to see you there. And this is about getting really focused on where you're putting your time and energy. You have so much energy, and we actually have Mars just moved into Virgo yesterday. That's actually going to help you since Mars is your ruling planet. It's a fire sign. You've got all this energy. If you will apply that to structure and discipline, then you will, exactly, AC, she's saying that Mars just went in there. Exactly. This is the opportunity to focus your energy, and actually Mars and Virgo is really going to help you with that. So I want you to use this new moon energy to get organized. In fact, you might want to write down, some people just write the signs on the cards and switch up. Yeah, oh, that's a good idea. I could do something like that. Thank you. Yeah, I'll come up with something for the next. This was kind of an impromptu trial, but maybe I'll just hold up a card or something. I need to get an astrology deck that actually has the signs, right? But for Aries, I think it'd be really, really good for you to create some lists during this new moon and look to see what things really are just not, you're not that excited about, they can go, so you can create room for something new, and then get really focused on what resources do you need, how much time and energy do you need. It really feels like for Aries, it's like you have all these goals, but are you being realistic about how much time and energy it's going to take? Okay. Alrighty. Oh, okay. That's good to know. Thank you. I'll look into that more. That would be so nice to have that happen automatically. All right. So then for Aries, coming up in the clarification card, I'm using my Sedona deck that I've been using a lot lately. I love it. I just got back from Sedona. Oh my gosh, the energy is so amazing. It says 13 mesquite. It says tenacious individuality. Well, that's perfect for you guys, Aries. It's basically saying be tenacious with your energy. Show people that you are willing to be organized and focused, and you're not just charging ahead to the point that you're leaving others behind. In fact, you're going to be a leader with this energy. Oh, good. I'm glad you like it too, AC. Yeah, it's become one of my favorites. And then we have the Best Friends deck. The Best Friends deck for kind of some action to take here. But again, what I just said about not leaving behind people, there may be some people in your life that really need you by their side right now, and you're so used to charging ahead, you're so used to just taking action on something that this is going to feel like it's slowing you down a little bit, especially with Mars and Virgo. But Virgo is the healer energy, so it could be that you need to bring someone with you on your path to create that healing. And I know, right? It is an interesting take on the energy, and it's like different locations in Sedona. So I want you to think about that. Think about who in your life might want to go on this journey with you, and it could be very healing for you and very healing for them. And I feel like you're going to be offering them some knowledge. I think you're going to be teaching things. I think you're going to be showing people what a great healer you are. So there you go for the Aries. All right. Taurus. Taurus, this new moon energy is bringing in the 10 of Air card for you. It says endings, recovery, freedom. I've been getting this a lot for Tauruses, and I do feel like the Tauruses are still holding on to some things from the past. And one of the things that my good friend Chris Reck, like I said, if you're tuning in late, he will be with me this time next week. We're doing the rest of the year. Chris Reck from Minabon Tarot calls this card dead, done, and over with. And one of the things to keep that in mind is, you know, if you're rehashing the past, if you just keep circling back. Have you ever been in one of those conversations where you're starting to get to a solution? Like everyone's like, how do we handle this? This person feels this way. This person feels that way. And then somebody goes, well, you always do this and we always have to do that. And they start circling to the past. And it's like, we are trying to find a way to move forward. We're not rehashing the past. So is there anything that you just keep thinking about over and over and over again? The other thing to keep in mind with Mars and Virgo, you guys, is that it can be very critical. We can be critical of ourselves. We can be critical of others. Hey, April, great to see you. And it is one of those things where you might have to ask yourself, why do I keep thinking about that? Why do I keep letting that bother me? Let's rise above this. We did have that final outcome card in the overall energy, the Hanged Man, or the Take a Different Perspective card for this deck, that is saying, you know, instead of rehashing things, say, what did I learn and what am I going to do differently with that? And I know a lot of Tauruses have new things coming in for them, new relationships, but it's going to be about letting go of anything that's toxic in their life. If you saw my 2025 angel messages, this was a big message for this entire year. Chris Reck and I are going to be doing the rest of 2025 to add bonuses to that next Wednesday. And I want you to go back and listen to those messages. Is there anything that is still, you know, in your energy, in your world, in your environment that's toxic? Because we're meant to be letting these things go. If it's not life affirming, it's got to go. It's dead, done, and over with. All right, so for the Sedona card for the Tauruses, we have the Oak Creek Canyon moving to another level. See, this is what's going to happen. Oh, I just got angel bumps all down this side, Tauruses. You are moving to a new level with your career, with your creative projects, with where you're headed in your life, your whole life. Relationships, help, everything. It's going to a new level. So you have to trust in that. And one of the ways that you do that is you accept the things that are dead, done, and over with. Now, maybe with this new moon, with the most recent full moon, you did finally realize, like you finally felt that release. So now there's an opening there with this new moon. And with an opening, you want to be the one choosing what you fill that opening with. You don't want to let somebody else pick where that goes. So let's just say, for example, every Tuesday at 10, you go to a yoga class and you just learned that, hey, I'm done with yoga. They're closing the studio. The instructor left. I got to put something in that time slot so that it's something I want. You're going to want to fill it with something that's good for you, and you're going to want to fill it with something that's going to take you to the next level. So let's see what's coming up for your unicorn card here. And we have the True card. I think you got this recently with me. It says, yes, what you're asking about is the truth. So I think some of you are questioning what this was for you. Like, what is over? What you keep rehashing, like, is it really over? And they're saying, yeah, what you think is the truth. So what you're going to want to do is trust that this ending that has recently come in for you is taking you to a higher level with your health, your relationships, and whatever creative project, legacy, or career thing you're working on right now. So I really, really love this new moon for the Tauruses, and make sure you're taking that quiet time alone that we were all guided to do in the overall energy. So we will get your bonus messages at the end, but let's move on to the Geminis. For the Geminis, we have the Strength card, all right? Strength card, courage, compassion, perseverance. So they're asking you to keep going with the projects you started during your new moon that we had last month during your birthday season, which we're right at the end of your birthday season at the time I'm recording these. We will be fully into Cancer season by the time we have the new moon, but I hope you've had an amazing birthday season, Gemini, and keep celebrating. Stay strong. I feel like some of you have started new things, have set new goals for this next solar return that you're going through, and the idea here is to stay strong. Cancer is your second house of finances, but it's also of self-worth, okay? So something that you started around your birthday and your new moon, they're asking you stay strong with this new moon. Keep doing more things to add to that energy. And for the Sedona card, we have the Lizard card, one of my favorite ones in this deck, and it says the unexpected. So I think for Geminis, this is where, a lot of times I think you see both sides of things, so you feel like you can see the likely outcome. Well, they want you to do something unexpected with this new moon energy instead of going, well, this is my normal routine and this is how I always do it, so I'm going to do it this way again. Do something unexpected with this new moon energy. In fact, if you have the opportunity to take some extra time to play, to plan something new that's good for you. Let's say whatever these new goals were, like something that's going to inspire you. I'm even seeing you guys like taking, an early day off from work or going to a new place for lunch. I'm feeling like some of you are going to maybe go get a massage in the middle of the week or go see a movie in the middle of the week. Like something new and spontaneous with this new moon is going to help you with this endurance, okay? And then your unicorn card here, which ends up usually being kind of an action card. It says one step at a time. See, I love these cards too. I think this deck was designed to be kind of for like your tweens, but I think it applies to everybody in all ages. It says, lots of little steps make big dreams come true, right? So again, this strength card, it's like you may have set some huge goal for yourself, but tiny steps are what gets you there, right? And then doing something unexpected to rejuvenate yourself. So yeah, I feel like, maybe some of you started a YouTube channel or started a podcast or writing a book or, whatever, you started taking classes and it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much that has to be done to get there. Well, make sure you're doing some unexpected fun things to keep your strength, and know that if you're just taking one step at a time every day towards your goal, you will get there. And this new moon energy is really going to help you with stepping into that self-worth, Geminis. All right, moving on to the Cancers. Cancer, this is your new moon. This is a beautiful energy for you because you have Jupiter in your sign at the same time. It's conjunct this new moon. It actually conjuncted the sun directly the day before this new moon on the 24th. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful energy in general for all signs, but you're going to want to take advantage of this new moon and Jupiter conjunct. So let's see what's coming up. We have the Wise Counselor card. Wise Counselor. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Yay. Belonging, learning, traditions. All right, so for Cancers, what this is letting you know is that there are people seeking your wise counsel. There are people who are wanting to learn from you. There are people who are waiting for you to step into that spotlight and say, I am the authority with this topic. So there's a lot going on for you around being there to nurture others, but instead of doing it where you're doing it for them, you're teaching them how to do it for themselves. So who's the first person, place, or thing that comes to mind where you can step in as an authority and say, here's how you do it, right? The saying about teaching a man to fish versus giving them a fish to feed them for one day, right? This is what you're doing, Cancers, with this new moon. You're teaching others how to belong on their own. You're teaching them how to do things on their own. And then coming up for the Sedona card here, we have the Desert Spirit card here. And it says, love from Creator. I love that card. You know, I just got back from Sedona, and it's just an amazing trip that my husband and I will often take for our anniversary and just to get away. And the energy is just so amazing. And I did have some really, really cool experiences. I'm going to save those stories for another time. Interesting ones too. But the love from the Creator, I mean, there was just such a different feeling being, we also spent some time in Scottsdale. Being in the desert has this magical quality to it, and we got to see so many ravens, and it was just so fun. And this is talking about remembering that, you know, there is the Creator in everything. And a lot of people view the desert as barren, but if you really spend some time in the desert, it's quite beautiful. And I know a lot of you understand that, but the terrain is so different from where a lot of people live. But I just find the more time I spend there, the more beauty that appears to me there. And it's just really, really amazing. So what I think you're being asked to do is look at the areas in your life that feel a little barren and apply this knowledge to it. Apply some opportunities to help others learn, and it's going to really help all of you with this Creator spirit and this Creator energy. So let's see what the Unicorn card is here. We have the Brothers and Sisters card. Let's see if we can get this. There we go. It says, I'm to get along with others, see the love and the best within. See, that's what we're doing. We're looking for the good in people, right? That's what we're doing, all of us. But also Cancers, I feel like, you know, you may have some brothers and sisters coming to you for help. You may even have some situations where you're stuck in the middle between family members, or you know, something that frustrates you with a brother or sister. And this doesn't have to be a literal brother or sister. It could be somebody like a brother or like a sister. It could even be in-laws. But looking for the love, right? And I do think with this Desert card coming here, Cancers, is basically saying, like, has there been a distance or like a barren feeling with a relationship in your life? And can you focus on finding love and seeing only love in that person, and then being that wise counsel, right? And of course, as a reminder, as always, we want to wait until they ask for that advice, not just offer it, because that's just going to cause more conflict. All right, moving on to the Leos. Leos, for the new moon, we have the renewal energy. I love this for you guys. It says reflection, self-evaluation, rebirth. Rebirth, Leos. This is super cool. This new moon is happening in your 12th house. You're going to want to be focusing on the things that you're ready to release, focusing on the things that you want to start again, try again. I feel like there are some things that maybe last year around this time didn't really launch the way you wanted them to. And there's going to be sort of this rebirth energy with this new moon. And you're not going to want to get caught up in the fears. You're going to want to focus more on your intuition with this new moon. In fact, we were all being asked to do that, right, with the Chariot card in the overall energy. But Leos, what's something that you tried a year ago that didn't quite work out? You have this renewal energy with this new moon to try again and it's probably going to be better than you ever expected, okay? It could also be just you're doing something again. Maybe it did turn out really well and you're doing it again, right? So let's see what's coming up for the Sedona card for you. We have the Sage card, Hearts, Desires, Manifesting. Ooh, I love this. I love this. So, you know, I am getting that maybe maybe something that you did last year or around this time last year, you know, it was better than what you were doing, but again, it just wasn't quite what your heart desired. And now you have this opportunity. So an example that's coming to me is like maybe last year you moved because you were really tired of your current living situation. But when you got to the new location, you were like, this is better, but I still want more, right? And I feel like you're gonna have this opportunity to get something more with this new moon. So start making the plans for that. And let's see what the unicorn card is. Light. We have the light card here. And it says, see the light within yourself and everyone else. So similar to the card we had for the Cancers about looking for the good in people, see the light within you and within others. And that's going to attract these heart desires. So again, it could be a renewal of a relationship. Maybe you did try to take a relationship to a new level or heal a relationship, and it's now time to renew that energy and really focus on the light in each other, okay? So I really like that for the Leos. I mean, as always, you're heart-centered. You have so much love to offer the world. And just remember that shining your light as bright as you can is what the world needs and what others need from you, okay? Now let's move on to the Virgos. Virgos, for this new moon, we have the Dreamer card. Let's see if I can get this to focus if I put my hand there. All right, that works great. So it says beginning, believing, protected. Wow. So this is the full card in the tarot deck. You are starting something completely new with this new moon, Virgos, and you do have Mars in your sign, which is helping you do that. Mars will help you get it done. And so this is a really, really positive energy. Is there anything that you have been holding off starting? Now is the time to get started, because a lot of times what people miss about the full card in tarot, which is the Dreamer card in this deck, is that you have everything you need, and it's really not, you don't really need that much, because what you need is within. The abundance is within. So the example I would use is this current setup. I'm practicing using my little iPhone here and my wireless mic to do this reading, so that when I travel this summer, I can still do these readings with very little, right? Instead of what I did last year, where I hauled a ton of equipment with me to my different locations while I was filming, and it was so much effort. My luggage got pulled every time going through security. They had to inspect everything. They lost an expensive wire of mine when they were doing it. So it was like, okay, if I'm gonna keep doing this when I travel, it's gotta be less. It's gotta be more efficient. I gotta get rid of the resistance, and that's why I had a couple troubles starting today, because we're trying this out. Oh, thank you, AC. I appreciate it. So then we have one of my other favorite cards for you, Virgos, from my Sedona deck. We have the Alien card. Look how cute he is. Look how cute. Okay, it says tourist or alien. Now, this was funny. I actually met a group of people while I was in Sedona last week that was there to see UFOs. They were doing like the UFO tours, and we had a little chat with them at a restaurant, and you know, they were such nice people. So they were both visitors and they were also, you know, there to see the aliens. So that's really interesting. But I get that for this new moon card for you, Virgos, what this is actually saying is, you know, you're probably going to be getting some messages from the unseen for this new moon that's going to help you with this Dreamer card you have here. So I would definitely take some extra time for journaling, extra time to write down any dreams you have. I do feel like you're going to be having some visitations from the unseen. So make sure, ooh, I just got angel bumps all down my left side for you guys, Virgos. I can't wait to hear who visits you. Please tell me, and write everything down so that you can have a podcast or YouTube channel about it. If you have a visitation, I want to hear about it. All right, and then we have the, for the unicorn card, we have try something new. Try something new. So that goes right along with the Dreamer card here. It says you'll only know that you can do something if you try. Hey, Noelle, good to see you there. You'll only know if you can do it if you try, right? Oh, there we go. I listened to Chris Reck on his Chris Reck channel, I listened about all his tips for YouTube. And, you know, his big thing is just the most important thing is that you hit record, right? It like whatever else can be added later. You can add a better mic, you can add better lighting, a better camera, you can add a better script. Just make sure you are hitting record, because if you don't have the content, you can't learn. In fact, when he first started helping me with my YouTube channel, I didn't have enough content for him to dig into my analytics and show me what I needed to be looking at. It was more like I really needed to just put a lot more content out there to be able to see what is actually working. So that actually goes for all 12 signs, not just Virgos, but whatever this new thing is that you're starting, they're saying, you know, you won't know until you hit that record button. All right, moving on to the Libras. Libras, for this full moon energy, we have the High Priestess for you. And it says intuition, wisdom, and patience. They're beautiful. Well, and I love this because you've got the two columns on each side, like bringing in that balance there and that patience. So I think with the Libras, you know, you've had to deal with so much energy lately, especially involving your career and your relationships. And if you're retired, that would be like your legacy, right? Whatever you're leaving behind. And you've had to deal with so much of that lately that I feel like it's made you a little impatient. And I don't blame you. It's frustrating that you've been doing so much work. You've been increasing your skills, increasing your knowledge, focusing on new things. And some of you have started some new things. You started them in Aries season, your opposing sign, right? And it was like, okay, why is this not working yet, right? Well, it's going to just keep going, all right? Keep tuning into that intuition, bringing balance into your daily life, and making sure that you're having patience, but don't stop, okay? Add some new energy with this new moon. Hey, Casglow, good to see you there too. Okay, for the Sedona card for the Libras in this new moon, we have Boynton Canyon, and it says viewpoints. So my guess is, I have not hiked this area here, but my guess is there's a lot of places to see some really cool views. And this is saying for you guys, Libras, you know, you like having that 30,000 foot perspective so you can see both sides, and you often can easily see both sides of something, but maybe it's time to change positions and get a different view. So for some of you, this could be taking a vacation. So for some of you, this could be grabbing your laptop and going and working in a new location that you wouldn't normally do. And like I said, with all of us at the overall energy, maybe you're just taking a different route on your exercise every day. You're going a different way to work, or you're taking a different walking path so that you can get that different perspective. You know, I get most of my ideas when I'm on my walks in the mornings, and sometimes I will walk in a different direction just because I'm feeling so stuck. And I'm like, why am I feeling this stuck? I don't know. Let's just go in a different direction. And then there will be some sign, as always. So for the unicorn card for the Libras, we have the grandparent card here. I just have to remember to put my hand up, and it seems to work great. All right, and it says, you have a special bond with a grandparent that can never be broken. Aw, I love that. Yeah, and for some of you, this could be a grandparent you never even met. Somebody who passed away before you were born. It could even be a great-grandparent, okay? So, you know, I'm feeling that you could actually benefit from reviewing this grandparent's life. That might be where you get the new viewpoint. So think back, you know, who's the first grandparent or great-grandparent that comes to mind for you? If you didn't know your grandparents, is there some way you could learn a little bit about them? Like go research your family tree and get to know that person, because I think that's going to give you the opportunity to step into this patience and see things from a different perspective. Like what viewpoint did your grandparent have about the world that influenced you? And this was somebody who really could help you, you know? And so I think the other thing that was coming through for me there is, so I know a lot of you have heard the story that my grandmother was the one that activated me as a light worker. 5 years after she passed, I have a whole video on it, so I won't go into it too long, but 5 years after she passed, she came to me in a lucid dream and told me, get to work. And that's when I closed down my small business consulting and accounting practice, and I went full time into doing angel readings and my spiritual teachings. So I was activated by that, by my grandmother. And she was always going to be an activation point for me. But I didn't know this until I used hindsight, right? I looked back at all the years we spent together where she taught me about angels. She passed along wisdom, her approach to spirituality, and even on the final day of me being with her while she was alive, she held my hand so tightly, and I felt energy go through our hands and our arms, and I knew that it was a significant moment, and yet I didn't know why, right? It was passing down the torch. So you do have someone in your life that's an ancestor, Libras, that is passing the torch to you, and that bond will never be broken. All right, moving on to the Scorpios. The Scorpios, for your new moon energy, you have the Ace of Air card. The Ace of Air card, very good for this new moon. It's something new, right? It says inspiration, communication, adjustments, all right? So I love this for the Scorpios. Basically, you're going to use this new moon to really start communicating in a different way. I've been asking all of you to get more out in the spotlight this year, get out of the cozy comforter in your bed and get into the sunlight, right? And maybe you just have to make a few adjustments to the way you communicate. So you can do that. Make a few adjustments to your daily schedule so you have more time for that. And it's going to be something that you feel really inspired to do. So actually, if normally you are the one that would like to hit the snooze button and stay home on a rainy day, you might actually be like, no, this new thing has me jumping out of bed and getting outside. So what is that for you, Scorpios? I'd love to know, because I really, really love this energy of the new moon for you guys. And let's see what your Sedona card is. Whoa, I've never pulled this card. Let me hold it like this. It says blank, blank. And it says unexpected unknown. Ooh, you've got a blank canvas here, Scorpios. You've got a blank canvas. I love this. So it's like you don't even know where these paths are going to lead you. Oh, really, AC? AC said she started networking a bunch. There you go. You never know where those relationships will lead you, okay? So you've got a blank canvas here, Scorpios. You can do whatever you want with this Ace of Air card. Just make sure that it's something that inspires you to jump out of bed in the mornings, right? And then your unicorn card is the water. Well, you are a water sign, so that makes perfect sense. Let's get this close so you can see it. Oh, look at the little baby drinking from the water. It's a sweet card. It says, drink more water, eat foods with water in them, and then fresh fruits and vegetables. Okay, well, I am not a doctor or a nutritionist, so this is just, as Chris Rex says, loose guidance at best. But you are a water sign, so just make sure that you are surrounding yourself with high vibrational energy. And, maybe you just need to get a little water fountain for your office or for your house, right? Or just spend more time by the water. Take a salt bath with this new moon. I was actually trying to figure out if I had time in my schedule. I don't think I do because of so many appointments with kiddos and things, but I was thinking I would try to do one of those deprivation tanks where you float in the salt water. I was thinking that either for the Sun conjunct Jupiter on Tuesday the 24th or on the new moon, I would do it, but I don't think it's going to work out with my schedule. So it's okay. I'll just do it in my mind. But I did that for the new moon in Cancer a couple years back, and it was really awesome. All right, moving on to the Sagittarius. What do we have for the new moon? So Sagittarius, for the new moon, you have the Two of Water card. I love this for the Sagis. So Two of Water is basically saying that you have a relationship that is going to a new level, a partnership, a commitment, a reconciliation. Maybe some of you are getting married. Some of you are deepening a bond with somebody. Some of you may be just deepening a bond to where you're headed. I do think Sagittarius have had a lot of change in their work, or they want to make a new change, and they're trying to navigate a lot of their relationships while they make this change. And so I feel like for Sagittarius, you know, it kind of feels like, yeah, reconciliation. So I feel like for Sagittarius, what I'm getting is this new direction you're moving in may have ruffled some feathers, or it might ruffle some feathers. And that's been your resistance. That's been why you haven't taken bigger steps with this new direction you're going. But just trust that there will be some energy here to help you out, especially with it being a new moon in Cancer and it being a water sign, and you have the Two of Water. So this is amazing energy for Sagittarius for this new moon. Take action on anything that your heart has really wanted regarding your relationships to people. That's not just romantic, but friends, colleagues, your relationship to your job. Are you putting the energy into it that you want? Your relationship to your health, right? Because, you know, we want to be in divine flow here. We don't want to start things that are going to create stress. So I feel like there is reconciliation coming in for a lot of Sagittarius here. And this is really positive energy for a water sign new moon, which we have. For the Sedona card for Sagittarius, you have the Airport Mesa. Now, I have actually been to this point. It's absolutely gorgeous. It says masculine energy. And this is a beautiful peak to stand on and see. And then, of course, they have the actual airport there as well. Very, very fascinating. And basically, this is letting you know that even though this new moon is in Cancer, which is known as a more feminine energy, the watery energy, the emotional energy there, we do want to make sure we're balancing it with this masculine energy too, so that we're not getting too swept off our feet. And I know a lot of Sagittarius that can sometimes get swept off their feet. It could also be that you're just needing to allow a male in your life to help you with your journey. So it doesn't have to be that it could be a brother, it could be a son, it could be a spouse, it could be a boss, but it could be that maybe you're trying to do too much on your own and it's time to ask for help. Let somebody else step in. And it could be a female with a more masculine energy to them. It doesn't matter. This gender is not mattering here. It's just about that divine feminine and that divine masculine, which we all have both, making sure there is balance. So let's see what the Unicorn card says for Sagittarius. We have the Love card, which is validating your Two of Cups here. So for a lot of Sagittarius, this is about the romance. It says the answer that you're seeking is love. So yeah, you just need to follow the love, Sagittarius. What do you love doing every day? Like, what is something you love? You never get tired of doing it, right? And maybe there is somebody in your life that can help bring in that masculine energy and help you move forward with it. So you guys got to let me know in the comments, like what is something that you've been kind of holding back on? Because I feel like you're going to finally see this move forward with this new moon, and go ahead and plant those seeds. All right, moving on to the Capricorns. Capricorns, for this energy, you have the Page of Air. I love this Page of Air card here. It says truthful, analytical, of course, outspoken. That's Capricorn right there, right? You know, we had the Page of Swords card earlier too in the overall energy. We all had that in our external factors. But, you know, Capricorn, this is your 7th house that new moon is happening in. And so it's something regarding being really truthful in your relationships, your long-term relationships, like your spouse, your boss, like any kind of legal document, like, you know, hiring a lawyer, hiring a contractor, like a long-term commitment. You need to be very analytical about this commitment with this new moon. In fact, I do think some of you will be making a new long-term commitment on this new moon, and you have the benefit of the Sun conjunct Jupiter the day before to help boost this opportunity. But it might be something that you just really have to make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, which is what Capricorns do anyways. You guys do speak the truth, but we want to remember that the new Capricorns, after we've had Pluto go through your sign, they are more about listening to their intuition and then being outspoken about it. Okay, so this is really interesting energy here. I feel like there is a new commitment coming in for you guys. Really exciting. You'll have to let me know what new stuff comes up for you. For your Sedona card, Capricorns, ooh, I was just talking about this. We have the Raven card. So if you're tuning in late, I was in Sedona last week, and they have, I mean, the Ravens were there constantly talking to us and outside our window and just watching them dive. And there was two in particular that were a pair that were always there talking. And we don't have a lot of Ravens in our area, so we never get to see them. So it was such a joy. And it says, listen. It says listen, and that's what we literally did, was we just sat there and listened to the Ravens. In fact, I even just took a lot of video of them. I'm thinking about doing a meditation for you guys with the scenery in the background. So it's something in the many things that I have working in the background once I get a chance to work on it. And next we have the Let Go of Stress card. Let Go of Stress card. And this says, don't take care of other people's stress, breathe in and out now. So yeah, this is, when somebody else is making their problem yours, we want to try to step away from that. Is it really your job to solve this for them or do this for them? It might be time to let go of something. Since we have this with the Raven card, I feel like between now and this new moon, more information, Page of Air, is going to come through that's going to make you realize, like, this is too much. This is too much stress. Why am I doing this for everybody else? Why can't they do it? And then I can pause and get rid of this stress and really focus on the things that I want to focus on. So I feel like maybe some of you are going to be hiring people, or you're collaborating with somebody, or just handing off something to somebody else. That's going to be kind of a long-term thing. I mean, I use this example a lot because it's kind of an everyday easy one, but maybe you're finally hiring a housekeeper who's going to be working for you for a long period of time so that you have more time for your creative projects, right? So think about what that is for you. It doesn't have to be enormous, but I really would love to know, Capricorns, what is your intuition telling you about where things are going to change and allow you to let go of stress with this new moon. And the Aquas, Aquarius, what do we have for your new moon? We have the 10 of Earth. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. It says property, security, tradition. Property, security, tradition. So, I mean, Aquarians are not usually very traditional. You tend to be the innovative ones, doing things differently, or even if you do things in the traditional way, you do it because it provides you security, but then you have this ability to then think outside the box, right? So I feel like a lot of the investments you've been making this year you're gonna start to see the fruits of your labor with this, and this is really exciting. You're gonna be starting something new with this new moon that allows you to expand in new ways, especially regarding your creative projects, your career, your legacy, Aquas. So something you're starting with this new moon is going to bring you that abundance. So let's see what's coming up with the Sedona card for you, Aquas. Coxsome, changes. Yep, you're going through some changes, which is like, what's new, Aquas, for Aquas? Aquas, your glyph is literally up, down, up, down, up, down, change, 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 right? But you are making some big changes with this new moon. Like I said, I feel for a lot of you, it does involve more of a creative or career or legacy type thing versus relationships. I've been getting all year for you guys that you were either getting married, or you were making a long-term commitment to somebody, or you were moving to a new place and falling in love. So now you're seeing changes come through with other things you're doing in your life, because you've had these changes with your relationships, and now you're having these changes with these creative projects and other things. Hey Kim, good to see you. We're on the Aquas, and the unicorn card we have is the Thankful card. The Thankful card. Love that. And it says, Think about the people and the things you feel grateful for. So yeah, as you're going through these changes, it might be a little uncomfortable, Aquas, you know, and you're going to have to really invest in yourself and in your heart. And I feel like, you're going to have some people in your life that don't like the changes you're making, right? I mean, there are changes coming in, and I feel like, you know, it's really important to think about how you can be grateful for the relationships you've had. And if these people are saying to you, I don't like the changes you're making, I don't like the direction you're going, and they're not handling it well, you still want to be thankful for the energy you had with them. And also sometimes it's making it easier for you to leave. Have you ever had that happen where you were kind of dreading, let's just say you're dreading letting a boss know that you're putting your 2 weeks notice in, and maybe they kind of smart off and say something a little rude, and you're kind of like, well, that just made it easier for me to leave, right? So you could be thankful for the opportunity to just move away. So I think that's going to be really, really cool for the Aquas. Let's see. Paul, hey Paul, good to see you there. Your message popped up. I didn't get to read it all there. I'm using my iPhone and I've got it mirrored, so I don't have access to my buttons, but I will try to answer it at some point. I think you said something about the angel number 369. Is that right? 369 is amazing. It's the Tesla numbers. Have you ever studied Tesla and how he was like obsessed with 369? Oh, good. It was. Thank you, Paul. Then go study Tesla. I think you're being encouraged to go learn about Tesla and his theory. I was listening to some video or reading something where it was like he wouldn't stay in a hotel room or work in an office unless the number like ended in 9 or something, or maybe ended in either a 369. So I feel like you're being encouraged to look into that. I mean, things do tend to do well in multiples of 3. So yeah, definitely. Let me know what you find out, Paul. All right, we're moving on to the Pisces. Last but never least, we have, and speaking of Pisces, quick reminder, one of my favorite Pisces will be right here on my channel with me next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central. We're going to be doing the rest of the year. That is the amazing and talented Chris Reck from Minopon Tarot. Oh, Pisces. You got the transformation card. I've gotten this for you guys a lot recently. Really, really interesting. Of course, this is the Tower card in the tarot deck, and in this angel deck, it's called transformation. It says realization, life change, liberation. Yeah, I've just been feeling so many big changes coming for Pisces, and this is really powerful. So this new moon feels like you're going to be just rising up out of something that's been holding you back for years, something that you have held back on. I feel like maybe there's a lot of healing coming through, that you've been working on a lot of healing, and that healing has actually brought you this opportunity to transform your entire life. I'm getting this image of just like rising up out of what your mundane day-to-day life is and going, enough is enough. I want something new. I want something higher. I want something that I love doing. And we all got that card about getting rid of the resistance in our life. So let's see what's coming up for the Sedona card for Pisces. For Pisces, we have Juniper, stand strong. Stand strong. Having that card with the transformation is kind of feels a little bit like an oxymoron, right? Because it's like, well, you have this huge change coming in, but you have to stand strong. You have to stand amongst this tower here. But really and truly, it's just saying you are strong enough to rise up out of these things that have been holding you back. It's almost like, I think that is the like image I'm getting, is like you're rising up out of the rubble, right? And you're like, enough is enough. I want to be free of this, and I'm strong enough to do it. I'm strong enough to move out of these stale ways of doing things that no longer serve me. So let's see what's coming up for your unicorn card. And of course, we will do your bonus messages. After this, we have share. When you share, everyone feels happy. Everyone feels happy. Yeah, you have so many divine gifts to share with the world, Pisces. I've been saying this for a really long time. Pisces need to get out there in a bigger way than they ever have before. I know sometimes you can be shy. I know sometimes because of how incredibly sensitive and intuitive you are, it can be hard to push you to do that. But it is really, really going to be valuable if you will start focusing more on sharing your light with the world in a bigger way. And I think that's what's happening, where you're rising up out amongst the crowd. Like, that's what it feels like. It's like you've been in a crowd, or we should, and you want me to say a swarm of fish. Sorry, Pisces. You always get the fish jokes, but it's like you're rising up out of it and you're standing taller than everybody else, and people are going to see your light, right? So what's this new thing you're doing with this new moon? What can you start with this new moon that's going to get you up and out of this rubble and this being part of a crowd? Because you are not meant to be part of a crowd. You are meant to share your light with the world and be seen for the beautiful soul you are. All right, I love that for the Pisces. Let's get you your bonus reading. Hey, Mary, thanks for stopping by. All right, so for the bonus reading, I love doing my 5-card readings that I do on my shorts. So let's get started with the present energy for this new moon, Queen of Air. We have the Queen of Air card for the present energy, and it says independent, experienced, realistic, witty, objective decision making, clearing away what no longer serves you, and of course, seeing the humor in something. So what I think is really going on with this card is talking about is right now, at the time you're hearing these messages, you have seen some endings, right? We're still feeling that really powerful full moon we had last week in Sagittarius. We're going to feel it all the way up to this new moon. There are endings coming through. There are things that didn't quite work out the way you wanted, but look for that humor and trust that these are clearing things away for this new moon energy. So what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about something that has ended over the last couple of weeks, or it may still happen over this next week, since this is the 17th, 18th that I'm recording this, and this new moon is actually on the 25th, which I will be live with Chris Reck right after the Apex for next week. So we'll be giving you way more messages than this. And then the near future card is the Queen of Fire. The Queen of Fire, which says, confident, warm, intelligent, graceful, stretch your wings and fly, don't underestimate yourself, assert your independence and creativity. Beautiful. So they're basically saying you are going to have an opportunity to be absolutely magical with this new moon. This is a magical new moon, and you are being asked to wield your spiritual gifts in bigger, brighter ways. Be confident about your abilities. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. Laura E's here. So yes, it's very, very important that you use this new moon, so powerful with Jupiter conjunct there, to just be confident about where you're going. And I just want to, I can't stress enough, what are the things that help you jump out of bed? And if you don't have that, then get it. Get it with this new moon. Start on it. It can be start taking a class, buy a new book, get a new project going. What is something that gets you excited to get out of bed? And I will tell you, again, spiritual alert. We say that instead of spoiler alert here. For me, it's you guys. What gets me out of bed in the morning is you guys getting to come on this channel and share with you. I love you all so much, and I love creating new things, and I love planning it, and I love trying new things. I actually do have some surprises coming up for July. I'm not going to talk about right now because it's not ready, but I am using this new moon energy for something new for all of you right here on YouTube. So I'm super excited about that. If these messages are resonating, we're going to finish these bonus messages, but I would love it if you would hit the like button, share this video with anybody who would resonate, hit that subscribe button if that feels appropriate. So thank you. And let's get to the future card now. For the future card, we have the Ace of Water. So again, it's a water card with the new moon in Cancer, water, Jupiter in Cancer, water, something new, ace, right? It says falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition in a new home. Yeah, I know a lot of you water signs are probably looking for a new home, and it doesn't necessarily mean a new physical home. It's like a new place that you feel at home. Like maybe you don't quite feel at home with a certain social group and you're looking for a new group of people where you can feel at home. or you don't feel at home in the work you're doing and you want to change the way you do your work so you feel more authentic with that. This is all the time to start this right now with this new moon. This is the bonus reading, so this is for all signs. Now, just a quick reminder, if you are new here, I always encourage you to listen to all signs because we have all signs in our chart. So all signs. Oh, beautiful. Paul has a butterfly. 4 of them. I love it. See, the affirmation. We're all getting butterflies through Paul. Thank you, Paul, for sharing. And it's transformation, right? So it's basically saying that, you know, this card right here, which is the near future, right? We have this for the current energy. We're clearing that away. We're still doing that from that full moon, but it's giving us this chance to transform things and then do something we love. Do the thing that helps us jump out of bed in the morning and get started with our day. It helps us take care of ourselves in the evening and go to bed on time so that we have the rest. Have you ever had to put yourself to bed? But I know, like, when I have so much fun things that I'm looking forward to do, I don't really mind going to bed earlier and ending my day a little earlier. I look forward to my dreams, to learning in my dreams. In fact, let's call in our spiritual team with this energy to help us in our dreams. Ask your team, your spiritual team, your angels, your ascended masters, your passed away loved ones. Ask them before you go to bed to teach you things in your dreams, to give you messages in your dreams so that you can look forward to going to bed and you can look forward to jumping out of bed in the morning and doing something new. So we've got 2 actions to take before we wrap up these new moon angel messages. And no surprise here, we have the World card. The World card. It says a job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude, the path toward enlightenment. So the things that you are starting with this new moon, it's all about being seen in the world, shining your light in the world, and that path towards enlightenment. We are all here to learn things, to grow as souls, to help raise the vibration of the planet. And the second action to take before we pull this all together is the Queen of Earth. The Queen of Earth. I love this card for an action. It says thoughtful, creative, warm, sensible. Make time for those around you. Remember, we got that about the Aries, even got that, like bringing people along with you. But we want to be sensible about the new things we're doing. Remember, these new things we're starting, we are planting a seed. It takes time to grow. It's not going to happen overnight. But the excitement of starting something new can really fuel you. So the second action to take is just make sure as you start these new things, you're being very practical about it, right? Don't set goals that are just too much pressure and unachievable, like I want to make $1 million by the end of the month. It's like, well, some of you may be able to do that. I don't know your background, but for most people, that's not a really practical goal, right? So just be sensible about the things you're doing because you are going to shine your light in the world in a bigger way. And I really love pulling all these cards together. So let's do one more pulling in a message with all of this energy. And before we do that, I just want to remind you, if you want to sign up for my free newsletter at devonduerr.com, you can get my free ebook. My gift to you is it a sign to help you interpret signs and meanings. And of course, stay up to date on new events and offerings and videos I have coming out. So I'd love to see you over there as well. All right, pulling this all together, we essentially have we have all the signs. We have the air card, Queen of Air. We have, all the elements, I meant to say. We have the air card, Queen of Air. We have the Queen of Fire card, Fire. We have the Queen of Earth card. Look at that. 3 queens. How did I not even, I was so busy pulling in messages, I didn't even recognize that we have 3 queens here. And then we have the water card with Ace of Water and the World. So you are mastering this energy. All of you are. This is just a beautiful time to take advantage of this watery energy. By the time I see you guys again on a live, we will have passed the summer solstice. We will be fully in to summer here in the Northern Hemisphere and winter for you guys in the Southern. Happy winter to you guys. And let's embrace this energy. Let's embrace this creativity. Let's take on these 3 queens. This is unbelievable. We never get that for a mini reading here. So I hope this really resonated with all of you. Thank you for your patience with me doing this differently. It's going to take me a minute to get off the air here, but let me know in the comments what you're doing for this new moon. What are you starting? Where are you tuning in from? And I'm sending you all so much love. Remember, take time every day to connect with the angels.